Hey guys, it is Holy Basil back with a different style of video. Instead of a voiceover, I've got a face over. But today I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, and a few weeks ago I was thinking about this game that was nostalgic for me growing up, and that is Metal Gear. And there's a character on Metal Gear that you have to battle, and his name is The Fear.
I am the Fear.
But it just started to get me thinking about fear and that of self, because fear was something that I still struggle with sometimes, but that I struggled with my whole life. And as a kid, just always being insecure and afraid, just from a fitness standpoint, being afraid of people judging my body. And I was the kid at birthday parties where all the girls and guys would be in their swimsuits. I would have the t-shirt, swim in the t-shirt and the shorts, which was like kind of weird to do, but I didn't have the six-pack, or I wasn't as lean as my classmates were in middle school, because obviously we're not really lifting weights, and that long ago lifting weights was not popular in middle school until I got to high school. Fear gripped me from that age all the way through somewhat recently, and not telling people that I like to work out, because then that would create a new standard and they would like hold me to that and judge me to that. So I'd be like, oh, I didn't want to tell people I worked out. I wanted them to just notice it, and not that you just go around telling people you work out, but if people ask like what you like to do, then you usually would say your hobby, which for me was working out.
I work out.
And when I was a new nurse at the age of 21, I was very overwhelmed.
You're not doctor?
No, I'm a nurse.
You're a man and you're a nurse? What kind of man is nurse?
Look, folks, I'm a professional, okay? I know exactly what I'm doing.
And as a nurse, you have to communicate a lot of critical information to doctors and physician assistants and nurse practitioners and people that have more experience than you, and people that have more schooling than you, and people that are just genuinely smarter than you. So I was always afraid of looking stupid and sounding stupid, which happened quite often and still happens, but I would be so anxious when I'd have to call some doctors that I knew would be rude or talk down to me or ask me questions frequently that I didn't know the answer to.
Give me a boy's name that starts with the letter H.
Jose.
And I remember just one time waiting on a page back from a physician, repeating Proverbs, the fear of man is a snare. The fear of man is a snare, like it's a trap. And that helped me. And now I have a few years of experience under my belt that I'm not really afraid at work anymore. Not that I'm perfect, but I'm okay with what I know and confident, even though I don't know everything, obviously. When COVID hit in 2020, I purchased a home gym, and that is one of the biggest things that I can recommend for people that might be afraid of judgment, and if you can afford it, to get a home gym, because nobody's going to be critiquing you and nobody can see you unless you post videos of yourself and get burned in the comments section like I do, but that's okay. And when I got that home gym, I just learned to love working out and found an enjoyment for it that I hadn't had before. And I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't trying to do anything but have a good time. And if I wanted to take my shirt off, nobody was going to look at me, and nobody was going to judge me for my love handles or my skinny calves or all the weaknesses that I know I have, that I'm working on. I'm to the point where I'm confident in myself. I know that I'm not perfect. And sometimes, I might not feel the most confident, but I'm okay and I'm content and I'm working to develop a better physique. And I know it takes time, but I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody. And I'm cool with things. And I'm not letting that fear guide me and run me like it did when I was younger. And I feel like I can walk in my purpose, and I want to make more YouTube content. If this picks up, that would be cool. And I'm not letting the fear run me. The fear of failing on YouTube because I wasn't cool enough, I wasn't big enough, I wasn't lean enough, I wasn't aesthetic enough, or I just plain wasn't funny enough or entertaining. And now I'm not afraid to fail. And I believe that if you aren't failing, you aren't trying. And I'm not afraid to fail anymore.
Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Which leads me to talk about fear in the Bible and the story of Joshua. Joshua is an Israelite leader, and he helps bring his people into the promised land in the Old Testament. Joshua is the son of Nun. Joshua accomplishes a lot in the Bible, and he is not perfect, but he does God's will, and God is on his side. So let's just read what God says to Joshua. Be strong and courageous, for you will distribute the land I swore to their fathers to give them as an inheritance. Above all, be strong and very courageous to carefully observe the whole instruction my servant Moses commanded you. Do not turn from it to the left or the right, so that you will have success wherever you go. This book of instruction must not depart from your mouth. You are to recite it day and night, so that you may carefully observe everything written in it. For then you will prosper and succeed in whatever you do. Haven't I commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So we know that Joshua is given instructions by the Lord, and he is adhering to it. So he's walking in what God has told him to do. Now, for us, how can we apply that as believers? If we're walking in God's purpose for our life, we must be strong and courageous too. We can't be afraid. And how do we know that we're walking in God's perfect? How do we know that we're walking in God's purpose? Well, I believe that it's we're using the skill sets that God has provided with us to glorify Him. Now, it's not the prettiest all the time, and of course, Joshua requires encouragement time after time, which is okay, but God tells him to stay with His Word, and we can do the exact same thing. So just like I was telling myself as I was waiting on this one doctor who's super rude to call back saying the fear of man is a snare, the fear of man is a snare, I was trying not to let that fear control me, and God has given what we already need, which is His Word. Now, why should we not be afraid? Well, God says it here. He says, do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I believe just like Joshua, if we're being about our Father's business, then God is with us as well. Jesus tells us too in Matthew 12, verse 32, don't be afraid, little flock, because your Father delights to give you the kingdom. In short, I would say that life is too short to be compelled by a spirit of fear. And I would encourage you, if you're struggling and you're watching this right now, and fear controls what you do, then I would encourage you to branch out and to trust God to dispel that spirit of fear and to walk in your purpose. Because when you're truly walking in your purpose, there's no reason to be afraid of people's judgment and criticism, because you know that you're doing what you need to be doing. Now, if you're watching this and you're not afraid, and you either never struggle with fear or you're already over that, then just give some sympathy on the people that do, and be encouraging and uplifting to the people that are struggling with that. One of my favorite scriptures is 2 Timothy 1:7. For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and leave some comments for some material that you'd like me to cover or some devotional type stuff. obviously, this channel is about more than just lifting weight. I'm talking about my faith more so. So if you stumbled on this channel and you don't like Jesus, then that's what it's about. Peace.